Okay, pay what you want and AI. Tell me a bit about what's the concept? What do you have in mind?
It's been a running conversation to the point that I saw it initially. I thought, oh, that's an interesting, a bit of a straw man argument. But then I saw it again, and then again, and then again. Um, Drive Through RPG has a pay what you want um,
Key.
stamp.
Yeah.
They have a recommended. They'll say, this is how much we think it's worth. This is how much we'd like you to pay. But you can't pay what you want, which includes zero. Now, I have only one product that's like that. That's the Ultra One 5 SRD document. Um, and I think I've made maybe $100. Most people don't make any money off of the pay what you want product. But a lot of times these pay what you want are done by legitimate artists and people wanting to break in and they want to kind of get people's attention and so forth. Um, and then the argument was made the fact that people are their argument for hating AI is, you know, support the artist, refute AI, support the artist. And then the next panel is, and yet I'm not going to pay any money for a pay what you want. If I can get it for free, I'll get it for free. And so there's been this argument, which people have gotten like the reactions have been very volatile, getting angry at the insinuation that people who download pay what you want stuff for free are just as bad as people who support AI. That's been the argument. Some people say it's a straw man. I think I have to admit, as someone that's a publisher in that field, I think the argument has some validity. Everyone wants to get something for free. And I feel that there's a slippery slope about when that applies. And then this coincidental, because obviously I think we talked about it previously, that Drive Through RPG now has a filter that allows you to remove any publications that have AI, which is entirely self regulating. You, as a publisher, have to say this product has AI, right? And then that gets flagged. So at that point, a publisher can avoid being on that filter by simply saying, I'm not going to click it. They can justify it in themselves why they feel, even though they employed AI in some capacity. And once again, good luck proving it. Yeah, sure, art
That's the
can be
thing.
relatively easy to spot, but I guarantee you 99% of the people on Drive Through RPG have played around with ChatGPT in some capacity and they're never going to admit it.
And even the environments. I keep saying this, and I'm sorry, but it is true. It's getting in brackets better and better, and with better and better, I mean more and more difficult to spot. There are ways to take some AI generated background content, landscapes, cities, buildings, that sort of thing, and make it close to impossible to see whether they are made with AI or not. And that's going to get harder and harder because that is where AI is going. So at the end of the day, as you said, if somebody thinks they can get away with it, an awful lot of people will try.
And that's the same topic what's going on right now. If people can simply get something for free, why should they have to pay for it? And that's the mentality for artists, for people paying for AI or sort of like using AI. And now it's now in the hands of consumers going, well, if like it's almost as such anyone who's made a comment saying, I hate AI, you have to support the artist. It reminds me, and this is going to seem very weirdly off kilter. And I'm not going to speak of his character, but Louis C.K., who's a stand up comic, had one of the most fitting pieces of humor, and he's very biting in this fashion. He says, you know, he says about romantic relationships, and he says there's someone for everyone, and then he says, nope, not true at all. And it's me, and stop saying it because it's mean to people who don't find anyone. There are people on this planet that we've all universally agreed are light speed ugly, and no one ever talks to them. No one touches them their whole lives. They just masturbate and they die. And then the audience goes, "Aw," and then he looks at and goes, "Well, you can go out and find one of these people and fuck them tomorrow and solve that problem." But no one does it. No one does that. And he made the joke is like, "Aw, we'll go and fuck one." Nah, I didn't think so. It's one of those situations where people feel sorry for the situation, but they're making no attempt to change it. And this is one of those situations like, I hate AI. You got to support the artist. Good. Well, this guy here, he's asking, he's gonna pay what you want. The recommended price is $4. No, I think I'll just get it for free.
That, that,
How are
that
you any different?
exactly. I mean, I have that argument. I mean, I'm not a big proponent of pay what you want, to be perfectly honest, because I don't think that people value that which they can get for free.
Yeah.
Because it unfortunately, we live in a society where the value that we give things is either sentimental or monetary. And a PDF or a book or anything like that, it's always at the beginning until you have it for a very, 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 very long time, it's going to be monetary. So if something is worth, it costs zero, it is worth zero. That is it. So I'm not a friend of pay what you want as a business model. I don't think it works. I think people are too mean. And I have seen somebody who is a massive defender, no, pay what you want, because sometimes I will see this company, I like what they do, and I will throw a few dollars at them. Whilst he was having a beer in front of me, complaining also in the same conversation that he had it very difficult to get a job and it was very difficult to get the money to have a beer. And I'm thinking, but wait a second, but you'd rather spend those €3 in a beer than give it to somebody who's making a book that you like. You're a fucking hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. That's it. Because you're defending being able to give this money when you can to this person, but you rather invest that money on yourself rather than on the person who's working for you. Fuck that. So, and I hate that attitude. I really, really do. And also
Yeah.
because I've seen an awful lot of people releasing pay what you want games that did not very well, and suddenly because they are pay what you want, they will get 500 or 600 downloads in a week and make less than the amount of money that that game would have made in a week at its full price. That sucks. That completely and utterly sucks. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. However, I do understand that some people with older products that they are not really going to get any more money out of it. You know, people who, for example, have an awful lot of Pathfinder First Edition or AD&D sort of stuff, that level. Then they want to do it on a pay-as-you-want basic because it's a matter of making the company known and people uh, navigating toward newer products that they can purchase at full price. So it's more a marketing ploy, you know, it's a bait. And I get that. And I don't have any issues with that at all.
Yeah,
But
I have two products. Like I said, I have my original Amethyst D20, which is no long, which is apocryphal. It's no longer canon. I have that just because, and the thing is, for me, I did all the layout, I did all the writing, and all the artwork has now been repurposed for later books. So it has virtually no value. And the SRD I put as a pay what you want because it has no artwork and it has no maps. It is just the SRD. I will never ever anytime I pay for art, and I have at always at one point. Um, Anytime I have a product, uh, I will never do pay what you want. I think my writing, my artist's illustrations, and the layout work is worth something. And if you don't think it's worth something, I think it's worth something, and I'm going to set it to a price which I think is valid and appropriate. And if that means you'll never buy it, then I was never going to get your money in the first place. Uh, and I have, like I said, I've had conversation with people. I'm willing to give out demos. When you go to Drive Through RPG, I have the preview option, and I have a very large preview option. I think with Ultramodern or Amethyst, I have the first 25, 30 pages, maybe. I'm not one of those people who have the preview option and you see the contents page and then that's basically it. I show as much off as possible, and people have actually, I remember so many people making comments going, you know that your preview option is like the first quarter of the book. I go, yeah, because I want you to know what you're getting into. I want to show the value, and no one is just going to pirate the first 30 pages with the word demo on it. you know, uh, it's really too bad. I really wanted I really liked AI for the first, like AI illustrations and so forth. I really thought they were really neat for a few months, and I really saw potential applications that artists and people could use: communication, inspiration, adding in aspects, image extension. They were some really nice ideas, and Nick and I were really having fun. Right? We weren't costing like I wasn't saving money. He wasn't saving money. We were doing it in ways that I felt was ethical. So I felt angry over the course of many months, finding that once again, you're talking about, I would talk about that ethical spectrum and how crypto, it's too easy just to skirt over that ethical boundary. And with AI, I was just like, guys, we had a window where we could have made this ethical. We could have made this good, especially in the field of AI illustrations. I actually still think with ChatGPT, like I said, I used ChatGPT recently in a manner which I had virtually no choice. Did I mention this?
No.
So I set 2 Kickstarters or 2 crowdfunding products, because one was BackerKit, to distribution at Studio 2 Publishing in Tennessee. So it was 2 products, Amethyst and Ultramodern. Tens of thousands of books. Well, 10,000 books got sent over, many, many pallets. But we had 2 campaigns. But I had I had duplicate backers in both campaigns. So I needed to combine the 2 different distribution files into one, right? Because I wanted to merge the duplicate backers. So we're not sending them 2 different boxes. I want to be able to send all their stuff into one. I also needed to remove all the digital stuff. Now, unfortunately, since I'm not a programmer, I don't have an algorithm. I had the option, and I realized, because I spent 6-7 hours doing this, going to every single backer, checking to see if they were in the other file. If they were, merging the 2 files together and combining it under one order number. So because they had to have one order number so they get one box. So I had to then grab a name. Are they there? If they are, take their order, move it underneath that order, and make it one file. Now, in case you're wondering, those are the lines. There were 11,000 lines in one file.
Ouch.
So after 6 hours, I had done 10% of this job. And I realized this is going to take me
Days.
forever.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, no, I can't. Okay, go to ChatGPT. So I loaded up both Excel files. I said, I want you to look at this file here, take each name, compare it to the second file. If that person's there, take their information, copy it over to the first one, merge it under a single order number, and then delete the digital entries. And I was very specific. I literally gave it a long list. It was like a paragraph. It wasn't just, hey, delete this, delete this. I was very, very specific and very paranoid that it would misinterpret it. Like, take these out, like move this file over, merge these 2 people, merge this order, give them one order number, right? And I'm just like, okay, there's no way. I hit enter. And I just waited. And then 1 minute later, took a minute. Here's your file. And I checked it, double checked it, and it had done everything exactly as I wanted to. It had fixed and organized the whole order. And I was just like, wow. That just saved me 35, 40 hours of work.
Easily.
So I sent it to Studio 2, and they're like, we did not know that you could do that with ChatGPT. I go, yeah, you can. You can load up Excel spreadsheets. And as long as you're specific and you're very clear in the instructions, it will do that. That's some of the applications of AI that is fascinating, that you can do that. Now, somebody who's really smart in like Excel probably could write an algorithm manually and do that. But I don't know those people.
And you don't know how to do it either.
I don't know how to do it either. But the point is that I could ask ChatGPT and it did it in 1 minute. That's an application that I felt I was perfectly okay with using. that is an option. And that's the thing, is that I think that there is a lot of stuff that we can use it, but unfortunately, I'm annoyed at two things. I'm annoyed the fact that I can't use AI anymore, and I'm annoyed at the fact that the haters of AI were so loud and so pervasive that the general population no longer listens to them. So it's a double standard. I can't use it, and then nobody cares.
In fairness, to be honest, I don't think that they've been so loud that people don't want to listen to them anymore. I just think that people didn't care at all.
Yeah.
And you could get a game out again because we have seen this already. And I know of companies who are going to do this because I spoke to them at Spiel, who are going to get a game with 400 cards. And they are saying that they're going to get this game out with this many cards only because they can afford to do this via AI.
Yeah.
That will do well because it's going to look very pretty. And that's what people are interested in. The general public, going back to the elections, they don't care about the ethical considerations. They care about paying less money because money is very expensive to come by.
Yeah.
That's what they want. So, again, it's a very tricky one, but I don't want AI in generative imaging, not because I'm against the technology. I keep saying this. I think the technology is absolutely incredible and amazing, but it is hurting so many people that I cannot justify the use of a technology that hurts so many people so much. And that's why I advocate on not using AI until there is a way to do it. Do I think that we're going to get anywhere? No. The truth is, I have no hope, but I think hopeless battles are sometimes worth fighting for, and this is one of them. And that's why the way I think.
Well, for me, it comes down to simply, I love the originality of the illustrations in the work. So I want my games to be a tribute as much to my writing as it is the artists I hire.
I can say that.
And I feel like if I read with AI, it's half as good because the AI is not representing the passion of another person. That's why when we did Threshold, Threshold was very much as much a tribute to Nick Greenwood's illustration as it was my writing. And I want our further collaborations to be similar types of kind of tributes to that collaborative effort. And there's no collaboration if your collaborator is a robot.
I agree. So just to close this segment, because I have the review to say and to do, people, if you're thinking about doing AI because you want to have a pay what you want, please consider paying an artist or using stock art. There are absolutely beautiful stock art packages out there, and selling for $1 or $2. You will make a lot more money. Trust me, you will make a lot more money. You will have fewer chances of getting somebody who will badmouth your product because they will give it some value, and you'll have fewer assholes to deal with as well. So please reconsider. I don't think it is the best option or the best way to go.
Yeah. On to the next step.
Yeah. Part 3. Sengongsa.